So this dead woman surprises everyone when she shows up to her own funeral, alive. Now her name's Noella, and her husband is this guy, who we'll call B. And they've been together for about 10 years. But one day, B gets suspicious. He thinks Noella might be cheating on him, and that she might leave him for another man. And no matter what B does, he just can't shake this feeling. So at this point, he has a couple of options. He can A, confront her, B, divorce her, or C, hire some hitmen to unalive her. And yeah, he's gonna go with option C. Now Noella and B live in Melbourne, Australia, but sometimes she travels back home to her hometown in Burundi, Africa to visit. And B, he decides to have her executed there. So he calls up some goons he knows in Burundi, and he pays them the equivalent of $4,500 US, and he tells them the next time Noella comes into town, unalive her. And the goons are like, okay, cool. And then months go by and everything seems normal. But then one day, boom, Noella's stepmom passes away back in Burundi, and she has to fly back there to attend the funeral. So she flies there, goes to the funeral, and then after the funeral, she's at her hotel. And she's feeling kind of down because it was just a funeral, and she goes outside to get some fresh air. And that is when suddenly, out of nowhere, a man appears, and he comes straight at her, and he pulls out a pew-pew, and he points it at her, and he's like, if you scream, I'll shoot you. And then he makes her get into his car. And in the car, she's sitting between two other guys, and they both have pew-pews. And then they blindfold her, and they speed away. About 30 minutes later, the car stops, and the kidnappers get out. And they take Noella into some kind of building, and they tie her to a chair. And there is where this other guy comes out. We'll call him Leader. So Leader comes right up to Noella, and he's like, what did you do to this man to make him want to unalive you? And Noella's like, what man? And Leader's like, your husband, dummy. Your husband.